Welcome back, Patriots. Welcome back to Sons of Liberty 1773. This is indeed where men and women from around the world gather in defense of liberty. I am your host, Bill Bailey, who will be channeling the patriotism of America's founding fathers. Today is September 1st, 2023, year of our Lord, and it kicks off Labor Day weekend. A long weekend. I hope everybody enjoys a little tranquility and peace in this chaotic world we're living in. Where to start? How about the economy? Some economic news, the Biden economy, because it's so wonderful. It's so wonderful that 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. It's so wonderful that credit card debt is at an all-time high. It's so wonderful that America's savings is at an all-time low. Fuel prices are skyrocketing again. Have you noticed that? McCarthy's talking about getting on a plane and going to Hawaii because of the fire on Maui to see what happened. I got news from McCarthy. There's a fire in Washington, D.C. that our republic is literally burning to the ground. Maybe impeach Biden or Merrick Garland or Christopher Wray before you get on the jet and go over there and do your thing. And I read comments. They don't want you over there. A little late, buddy. He's just, I got no respect for McCarthy. I just think, I was given a little hope, willing to give him an opportunity, but he's just proven himself to be a California commie with an R by his name instead of a D. Want to hear outrageous? What they're doing to Americans, since the soft coup? Joe Biggs, an American patriot, one of us, went to Washington, D.C., to peacefully protest, to exercise his First Amendment right, petition the government with the redress of grievances. Wanted to protest what he didn't think was a fair election. And every day we get more and more evidence that it couldn't be more true, like what's happening in Michigan, which I'll get to. So Joe Biggs, a nonviolent offender, one of the January 6th protesters, who was briefly in the People's House on public property, our house, our property, maybe 20 minutes, talking with the Capitol Police, staying within the velvet railings, and then left, right? Just sentenced to 17 years in prison, folks. 17 years. And these judges are giddy. They like, fresh meat. Oh, God, we got another one, They're evil. They're effing evil people. And these judges should be impeached and they should be put in prison, along with the prosecutors. He most likely won't see his father. His father will pass away before he's out of prison. There is hope. If we get Trump elected, Trump will pardon him and many of these others that have been wrongfully, politically persecuted. It's what they do in communist countries. Exactly what they do. They arrest and incarcerate or eliminate their political opponents. Dominic Pizzola, this guy is truly a Marine, honorably discharged Marine, also just sentenced for showing up to peacefully protest at the Capitol 6 protest. Sentenced to 10 years. But you know what he did when they sentenced him to 10 years? He gave a fist pump and said, Trump won. Dominique, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but we love you, brother. And then sadly, this is the sixth suicide from these wrongful prosecutions. A 22-year-old this time, Jordan Meacham, who attended January 6th and was just charged with 4 nonviolent misdemeanors 2 weeks ago, just killed himself. A 22-year-old man, his whole life in front of himself. I want these families compensated. When we get Trump in there, I not only want these people pardoned, I want them financially taken care of for the hell they've been put through, including the family of this young man. God, it just boils my effing blood, people. In comparison to what they're doing to these people, right? Giving them decades in prison, in federal prison, for nothing, for exercising their First Amendment. That's what they're doing. A while back in New York, not long ago, after the Floyd, protest, A U.S. judge sentenced a disbarred lawyer who threw a Molotov cocktail and had more in the trunk into a New York City police car, setting it on fire, and was going to go do more damage. They argued and said, well, you can't give him 10 years, give him, 2 years is long enough. And the judge said, yeah, he didn't mean it. Burning up a cop car, is nothing out of the ordinary. So they gave him a year, sentenced him to a year and a day. He's already out on early release. Just did a few months. But if you showed up at a Trump supporter, a MAGA supporter, protesting what many believe a crooked election, me included, to the gulag. We can't put up with this, folks. Our country is almost gone. If we don't stop this shit, it's over. And look what they're doing to Trump. 4 indictments, 2 impeachments, assassination attempts. Matter of fact, on that note, Tucker Carlson said, clearly, if you follow what they did, they spied on him, they impeached him twice, they've indicted him now 4 times, that if you follow the trajectory, it leads to assassination. Well, a Russian is paying attention apparently to what Tucker said, and a Russian state TV host just said this, commenting on Tucker Carlson. I know what it was. Tucker Carlson also not only said that, but he said they're going to take us to war to keep Trump from getting in office. They're going to invoke the War Powers Act, and he said we will be at war with Russia, a hot war. Tucker Carlson said this, within the next 12 months. That is terrifying, folks. But anyways, on that note, or that comment by Tucker, this Russian state TV host said Tucker Carlson is now a dead man walking. He signed his own death warrant by giving out that information on Washington, on what the criminal Biden regime is up to. I don't know, maybe. I hope Tucker and Trump don't get on the same plane. That would be too tempting for them. Russia has just put its Sarmat 2, they call the Satan 2, that carries 10 massive megaton warheads in its nose cone. They put them on, put those ICBMs, the Satan 2s, the one missile, each missile can take out a state the size of Texas, on active combat duty. This regime in Washington is hell-bent on taking us to war with Russia. And Alexander Dugin, who, scary guy, by the way, but totally has Putin's ear, said that war with the West is inevitable. I think it is with this administration. You heard the Hungarian prime minister. He said, we've got to stop this insanity now or we're going to be in World War III. Bring Trump back. That's what the Hungarian prime minister said. We hear you, buddy. We're trying. What else do I got for you? Oh, this Gateway pundit, massive breaking story in Michigan with the fraudulent ballot applications. Started in Muskegon. They keep finding out more and more stuff. That it was not only operating in Michigan, but 20 other states, funded with tens and millions of dollars of dark money, Democrat PAC money. The Biden campaign gave to it. Gary Peters gave to this company, by the way, that was out harvesting ballot applications. And you need the application to make the ballot to go with it. We get it, right? We know what's going on. But now a clerk is blowing the whistle. They won't give whether it's a he or she, but it's a Michigan clerk that was in a secret Facebook chat room and started sharing the conversations. Well, it turns out GBI or whatever that these people work for were getting ballot applications in the mail. The clerks were. And they were commenting that, there were problems with these things, with these applications. And Dana Nessel and Jocelyn Benson, look we're smoking them out, folks. You can only hide the truth so long. And I will tell you, it sucks that Dana Nessel took this from the Muskegon police to the state police, and look at the state police report to Gretchen Whitmer. So the three amigos, the three wicked witches, right? If you throw water on them, they melt. Benson, Witchmer, and Nessel, Witchmer, all knew about this. And I suspect Ed McBroom did too. Remember his bullshit election integrity report? There was no widespread election fraud. Right. But how many times did they parrot that? There's no evidence of widespread. They buried this, folks. They buried this story. It's massive. This is massive. And Dana Nessel has charged 16 alternate electors, totally constitutional, totally within their right when there's a contested election to have an alternate slate of electors, with, people that are in their 70s, the average age was like 71, with felonies for, pushing the big lie when she was burying the evidence. If we don't win this election in 2024, can you imagine what they're going to do? And look, they're going to pull out all the stops. They've got everything to lose, folks. They will burn this country to the ground before that's what they're willing to do before they're going to lose. I mean that. They'll destroy this country. They'll get us in World War III. We are in perilous times. I just can't, I don't even know if that word does it justice. It's dark days here in America, and the sky is darkening. We're looking at, you ever see them ominous pictures of images of Katrina coming off the Gulf toward New Orleans? So people seen the storm, and if they didn't leave, they were idiots. But we're watching a Katrina come at this country. And we should be preparing for it because we know it's coming. So keep prepping and keep praying. You got to stay active in this war, folks, in the politics. It's not fun, but if you do nothing, we're screwed. So everybody's got to get involved. And there's lots of things you can do. Go to your township meeting. I just went to a township meeting. And I haven't been there in a while. That's my fault. But you know how many people show up at a township meeting? I was it. I was the audience, me. And I'm glad I went because there's something that I actually have the clerk, because they quit posting their meetings online so you could see what the hell was on the agenda. And I have to have the clerk email me the agenda. And so if I see something that, kind of triggers my curiosity, then I go to the meeting. And I'm glad I did go to this last one. But you need to get involved in your local Republican Party. Because if we're going to get Trump elected, it's through the Republican ticket. There's rumors that Ronna Romney and the rhinos, and there's lots of them in the Republican Party, the establishment, the uniparty, they're going to try to figure out a way to take Trump off the ballot so he can't be a Republican. If they do that, it will be the death of the Republican Party, and Trump will probably start the MAGA Party, and 150 million people will join the party, and the Republican Party will be DOA. I would rather save the Republican Party than bury it. Hopefully they'll wake up, because if they're willing to do that, they're just as bad as the communist Democrats. They're willing to burn the country down rather than let Trump be president. And I don't get it. Look, if Trump didn't do a good job for 4 years, I wouldn't be supporting him. Nobody would. But he did do a good job. And he's the biggest threat to globalism, the deep state, the corporatocracy between, the corporations getting favorable treatment from Republicans and Democrats, buying them and selling out the American people. The industrial military complex, the big pharma, all of that lobbying money, billions and billions of dollars. Hell, it's probably over $1 trillion. It's probably in the trillions. Who knows? It's a bundle. But we've got to get Trump reelected. That's mission one for everybody. So that means saving money and being able to buy more yard signs. Get with your local Republican Party. You can print Trump signs. Buy them, we've got to swamp the vote. That's how we're going to win. We've got to swamp the vote and overcome any shenanigans. That's what happened in 2016, and we've got to do it again in 2020. But, know that like this, ballot operation, GBI or whatever here in Michigan that the Gateway Pundit is blowing open. There's many of those organizations, and the Democrats, the Soros crowd, and all that money, hundreds of millions, billions, are going to pour into this stuff. So it's like all hands on deck. You've got to get people. Here's something you can do. Everybody knows somebody that doesn't vote. You know who these people are. Nah, I never vote. I just don't pay attention. You've got to talk to those people and say, hey, buddy, you got to vote. Have you noticed your money doesn't go as far anymore? Oh, yeah, I've noticed that. Inflation's really bad. Have you noticed January 6th? Americans like you and I are being put in prisons for doing nothing more than exercising their First Amendment right. Have you seen what they're doing to Trump? We're losing our country. You can't sit on the couch this time. You've got to vote. It's your patriotic duty, man. Get out and vote. Go to your county commissioner meetings. Call your state representatives when there's something they're not doing. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. And one other note, Florida judge, Obama judge, by the way, there was a person in Florida that was suing, saying Trump couldn't be on the ballot, citing the 14th Amendment, Civil War, the seditious conspiracy. It's just BS. Threw it out, said no. And that's good, because that sets precedents for Jocelyn Benson and some of these Secretary of States that think they're going to knock him off the ballot. So we've already got one ruling. Hey, I don't know this judge, but that was a good call. It was an easy call, to be honest. It would have got overturned, and he or she knew that and just said, well, why bother? I think that's it. Just looking at my notes. Enjoy your weekend. I made storm windows for the gas station. I made the frames, painted them, just went and bought the glass to put in them. So I've been working on that. I'll finish them next week. Mowed like 5 acres here, so it looks nice for the holiday. Renee and I just went for a 2-mile hike. Just got back a little bit ago. I'm going to finish this video, and I'm going to crack open a cold Miller Lite and listen to some songs, maybe, Richmond, north of Richmond, that are destroying this country. Oliver Anthony, and some other music that lift my spirits a little bit. But just remember, we vastly outnumber our enemies, folks. Way more than us than there is them. And I'm going to tell you, I am watching God work. I really believe that in America. I believe God is using Trump, and he's using all of you. And what's happening in Black America right now is awesome. They see the injustice that the Democratic Party is doing to Donald Trump, and they watch Donald Trump booked and mugshot in Atlanta, Georgia, and have to make bail for bullshit charges, something that blacks go through almost daily. And they said no one ever listens to what we're going through. And now they relate with Donald Trump. And I'm watching his motorcade go down Atlanta suburbs, right? And blacks are lined up on the sidewalks cheering Trump, yelling, "Free Trump, free Trump." Love it. I love it. And this is not white America, or Black America, or Asian America, or Latino America. It's red, white, and blue America, right? I think Barack Obama actually said that at one time. We're all brothers and sisters in the Lord, good Lord. So keep prepping and keep praying. Remember, the number one prep is to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. God's amazing grace. We are undeserving. Okay, we are undeserving. And God sacrificed his only son, his only begotten son, so we could be forgiven. So it's free, folks. It's going to be wonderful. And I got news for you. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have eternal life. Just a matter of where you're spending it. And it's You want to be put to pasture on the good side of the fence, where everything's green and sunshiny and beautiful, and not the other side of the fence where it's kind of, smells like sulfur and not very comfortable. But do what you want. God gave you free will to make your choice, but it's a pretty easy decision if you ask me. No sin you've done can be other than rejecting the Holy Ghost. There's nothing you've did in your life that God won't forgive you for. His forgiveness goes from ocean to ocean, wide as can be. So grab on, all right? See you guys. Love you all. Bye.